All right, welcome everyone. Excited to be with you again here for another episode of the Entrepreneur Insider Secrets podcast. Want to talk a little bit about this week about why it's important that you transition from a spender to an investor type mindset. Now, this may be something that you may not have thought about as much before, but I think it's a very important concept that we all need to consider. And this is one of those things where honestly, I can tell whether or not someone's going to be successful just simply based on a very simple litmus test. And that is, I can offer them the opportunity to improve themselves. And I can say, hey, I understand this is what you want for your life. This is what you would like to achieve. This is where you would like to go with your life. And I can say, well, here's a way that you can do that. And assuming that opportunity costs them a little money to do that, their response will tell me whether or not they're going to be successful. And what do I mean by that? You may be thinking, well, if they say yes or no. No, that's not actually what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if their response is, I can't afford that. Okay, then I know they have a spender mindset. If their response is, that's not right for me, then they have an investor mindset. Now, one of the things you may have noticed there in the two responses is that both of the responses were no, which again, that's kind of my point. It's not that you say yes or no, it's how you say yes or no is going to determine what your mindset is and how you are looking at things and how you're viewing your future and how important it is to you. So why is this important? Why is this something that I'm feeling needs to be raised? Well, if you're going to achieve something new in your life, if you're going to do something that you haven't done before, you're going to need to grow, right? You're going to need to grow as a person. You're going to need to improve your skill set. You're going to need to improve or expand your abilities. You're going to need to grow as a person to be able to take on more, to be able to have this new kind of life that you have not yet experienced up to this point. Now, if you keep doing the same things that you've always done, you're not going to grow as a person and you're never going to achieve that goal. You just aren't. Think about it quite simply. When you started as a freshman in high school and you started taking, freshman math, for example, and you looked at the things that the people who were seniors in high school, seniors were taking, the math that they were doing. Maybe you were in a study hall or you met somebody and became friends with somebody who's a senior and you looked at the math that they were doing and you're going, oh my word, that's hard. Compared to where you are right now, you're looking at the math problems they're solving. You're going, wow, that's a lot harder than the stuff I'm working on. And you may just be going, wow, I don't know that I could ever do that. Well, but then by the time you become a senior, you are doing those math problems and you are solving them and you are working through them. Why? Because you invested in yourself throughout those 4 years. You did the work, you spent the time, you learned the skill, you grew yourself, you became a more skillful person at math. You became more adept at handling math problems. And that happened over time because you did the work, you spent the time, you spent the energy to grow yourself in that area. Now, this is how life works. And the only way that you're going to get there is if you take the time, you spend the money, you do the work, you do the things necessary to increase who you are, to expand yourself. If you're here today, you're going to need to be here in the future to be able to take on these new roles and responsibilities, to be able to achieve these new goals and dreams. So how does a spender view all this? How does a spender view their life? Well, a spender is usually someone that's in survival mode. Okay. A spender is someone who's usually concerned with today. They're concerned with, what do I need to do today to pay my bills? Like, I know I have this very heavily budget mindset. I know, I take in this much money every month. I know exactly to the penny how much I earn every single month. I know exactly how much our rent is or my mortgage is. I know how much I spend for food. I am very, and everything is fit into a tight little box. And I have to have it all mapped out. And I have to have everything specifically dialed in so that I know that I have this much allocated to that much allocated to this. And everything's got to fit into a nice, neat little tidy box. And I can't deviate from that box. And if something new comes along, I can't afford that because it's not in my box. It's not something that I can expand to. It's not something that I can go into because I can't afford that. Because you're not seeing anything beyond that. You're just seeing where you are today, and you're feeling like, well, I'm staying disciplined. I'm staying, on track. I'm staying where I need to be. I have to be right here. This is where it is. This is, and it becomes very much a poverty mindset because you don't see how things could get better. You don't see how things are going to improve. You only see the static view of your life, which is the world that it is today. And there is some value in that. And I don't mean to completely diminish it, because if you don't and you spend wildly and you're not being disciplined at all, yes, you can get yourself into trouble very quickly. And those are all very true things. And I'm not trying to diminish financial discipline. I'm not trying to diminish those things. But what I'm trying to challenge is your mindset around this. The mindset of survival mode. The mindset of, I'm only thinking about today and what do I got to do just to be able to afford to pay my bills today. And some of you may be saying, well, that's all I can do right now. That's all I can afford to do because I got myself in a bad place. And granted, I get that. I've been there in my early years after graduating from college, getting started in life. I found myself in those places where I was in a bad place. I was in a bad place financially, and I was struggling and just to pay the bills. And I was in survival mode. And it's a very bad place to be. And it's a very bad spot to be because all you're trying to do is think about today. And the reality is if you're going to, even in that situation, if you're going to create a better future for yourself, the only way that you can do that is you have to start thinking about tomorrow. You have to shift yourself. You have to shift yourself away from that survival mentality. I can't afford it. I can't do it. Nope, can't spend that dollar. That dollar is allocated towards this, and I can't spend anything other than that. And so you just narrow, and you never consider anything new. You never consider any new possibilities. You never consider any new alternatives. You just lock yourself into what it is that you can do right now. So how does an investor view things? An investor is concerned with the future. An investor mindset is looking out into the horizon, into the future, and going, how can I think about my future? Not ignoring today, not being ignorant of the fact that today happened or that today is in existence, but thinking about the future. How do I go from where I am today to improving my future so that my future is different, so that my future is better than what I'm currently experiencing today? And they're going to, instead of saying, can I afford this? They're asking the question, what is my ROI on this? When I get presented with an opportunity, I'm thinking, what is the future possibility from this? What do I believe would be the return on my investment? So if I, for example, put $1,000 into this new opportunity, what do I think my future return would be? Do I think my return would be greater than $1,000? Do I think I would get $5,000, $10,000 from doing this? Or do I think my return would be, maybe I'd get back my money back, or maybe I won't, maybe I'm not getting anything back from this. I am not getting any return. I'm not getting anything back from this that's going to be greater than what I'm putting into it. So if that's the case, I would say no. I would look at that opportunity. If I looked at it and I said, that opportunity, I'm looking at this and I'm going, no, I don't think I'm going to get enough of a return. So I would say no. And this is something that a lot of people have to get through their heads. So they think an investor mindset is always saying yes. No, it's not. The investor mindset says no a lot. I feel like that is what I've learned to become over the years, is much more of an investor mindset. And I get quickly concerned with people when I hear the spender mindset, because I know you're never going to get to a better place. You're never going to get to there because all you're thinking about is paying your bills today. You have to think about how can you create a better future so that tomorrow you're not in the same place of struggling to pay your bills. You're not in the same place struggling to survive. And so the question has to become, if I do this thing, what will be my return? It isn't about, can I afford it? Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But the question is, what would I get if I do this? And you have to be honest with yourself. And if you look at an opportunity and you say, you know what? I don't think I'm going to get a great return on this. I don't think if I do this, I'm going to really walk away with enough of a benefit that it's going to make it worth my time. I don't think if I go into this and I invest money in this, I invest time in this, this is really going to get me the life that I want, that it's going to get me the return financially that I want, that it's going to get me the results that I want. And if that's the case, then I'm like, nope, it doesn't matter what the cost is. Okay, it does not matter if it's cheap or if it's expensive or anything. I'm going to look at it and go, no, the return for me is not what I want. It's not what I'm looking for. It's not what I'm seeking. So I'm going to say no. And I say no a lot. And people are like, oh, okay. So this isn't just about saying yes. This isn't just about always jumping in and saying, yeah, I'll do it. Nope, not at all. This is not at all about what this is. This is about going into this and saying, okay, is it worth it? Is it something that's going to yield me a reward? Am I going to get something out of this? And do I have confidence? Do I have confidence in the result? Do I have confidence that I'm going to get the ultimate answer that I'm going for? Because if I do, then my mindset shifts to a different question, which is, how can I come up with the money? Because if I become convinced, if I look at an opportunity and I become convinced that like, this thing is going to work. This is what I need. This is going to get me the life that I want. And the life that I want will provide enough financial return that it'll offset the cost, so that the cost that I had is going to be minimal compared to the return that I get down the road. Then the next question is, how do I get the money? And that price obviously is relevant. It's all related to what the opportunity is, what the potential return is, all of that. It can be a small investment. It could be a big investment. But now I'm looking at it going, how can I come up with the money? What do I need to do to generate the money to be able to make this work? See how all of a sudden, because now I'm convinced that the return is there. I'm convinced that the outcome will be there. If I can get myself there and I look at the opportunity, I go, oh my goodness, this is exactly what I need. This is exactly the opportunity that I've been waiting for. This will give me the result that I want. And that result will more than pay for the cost. Okay, how do I come up with the money? And now what in effect that does is that causes me to grow. That causes me to expand. That causes me to increase my capacity for a greater life. So a lot of this simply is going to come down to the questions that you're asking yourself when you get into an opportunity, when you see an opportunity to do something that is something that you want. You have to look at it and ask yourself those questions. You have to look at yourself and ask the question of, what is the return on this? Don't just ask yourself the question, can I afford it? Because that's the today question. That's I'm going to, I'm only thinking about survival mode. No, the investor's looking at it and going, okay, I don't have the money to do this right now. But is there something else that I can do? Can I make a change in my life? Can I eliminate something? Can I go into my current spending habits and I could say, I'm currently spending this much money on this every month. And you know what? That's really not that important to me. That's not really getting me what I want in life anyway. It's not really giving me happiness. It's not really giving me joy. It's not really giving me what I want. This over here, has a much greater likelihood of giving me what I want and getting me the results that I want. So I'm going to dump that and go with this instead. See, this isn't just about wildly spending money. This is just about always saying yes. This is about being strategic, but it's about being future focused. That's how you're going to get a better result when you're thinking down the road as to what do I need to invest in to be able to make this work. So what's going to happen next from here? Well, the spender is going to go back to where they were. The spender is going to say, no, I can't afford it. I can't do this. It's too much money. I can't fit it into the budget. They're focused on today, and they're going to go back to doing what they've always done, right? They're just going to go back. Nope, can't afford it. It's not. I can't spend that money, so I'm going to have to go back to that. And as a result, they're going to keep getting the same results that they've been getting in the past, because your life, you're getting the results that your life is designed to give you. If you design your life in such a way to only take certain actions, well, then you're going to get the benefits and the results from those actions. You're going to get the things that your life is designed to give you. But if you are an investor, you're going to look at this. You have the investor mindset. You're going to be looking at these things going, I'm going to grow. I'm going to push myself to grow as a person. I'm going to push myself to do the things that I need to become something more. And I'm going to focus on what is to come and the thing that I want to achieve, the thing I want to go into, the thing I want to grow into. And I'm going to make the necessary changes to get there. Maybe those are financial changes. Maybe those are time changes. Maybe I need to reorient my schedule. Maybe I'm saying, okay, I need to find a way to reorient what I'm doing so that we can prioritize time differently than what I've been doing. I'm going to step out of these things over here that are not doing what I want, and I'm going to do these things over here instead. And they're gonna keep investing in themselves. They're going to keep finding ways. They're going to keep searching for ways to become better, searching for ways to grow as a person, searching for ways to become stronger, to become healthier, to become more mentally capable, to build their skill set. They're always trying to figure out, well, this is where I am today, but this is where I eventually want to be. I want to be this person over here who has a greater degree of capacity, who has more skill, who has more ability, who's more capable. And you're focused on that person, and you're looking at that person down the road in the future, and you're saying, okay, how do I become that person? What do I need to do to eventually get there? Because that's the person I would like to become. That's the person I would like to one day be. So what is necessary? What do I have to do to make the changes to get there? That's the investor mindset, because they're staring at the future thinking, okay, it's worth it to me to invest the money. It's worth it to me to invest the time, the energy, the effort to get there, because that's ultimately what I want. So as they do that, their life is going to grow. As they do it, their life is going to improve. The quality of their life is going to grow. It's like, going to the gym, and I've used this example many times in the past. Going to the gym is not always very fun. There are days going to the gym downright sucks. And I'm saying that as a person who's now been doing it for several years and doing these things and just continuing to push myself, continuing to grow myself, continuing to move forward down this path. I've had many days where I came home from the gym and just was so tired and so sore and so just worn out that I'm like, what am I doing? This is hard. But I also know the results that I'm getting. I also know the changes that I'm experiencing, the shifts in my health, the shifts in my strength, in my physical strength because of it. And this week I was talking to my trainer, and he made a comment that I was like, wow, I was kind of taken back by it. He goes, David, you have to understand, because for people who are in their 50s, which is where I am, I'm in my mid 50s. He goes, you are easily in the top 1% as far as strength and ability to be, having physical strength for people in their 50s, easily in the top 1%. And I was like, wow, because 5 years ago when I started this journey, I was not there at all. I knew that I was very weak. I had lost a lot of strength because I wasn't exercising. I wasn't doing those things. And I knew that there was going to be a price to pay. I knew that where I was going was a bad thing. I knew that I wasn't going to be happy with my life because I'm sitting over here going, no, I'm on a path that if I don't change, if I don't invest in myself, if I don't make some shifts, I'm going to end up in a bad place. And that's the other side of things. If you have the spender mindset, eventually things decline because things start to slide down, things start to go downhill. If you're not making improvements, eventually things can, and you continue down this path, for example, with your health, because I had spent 10 years of my life staring at a laptop, just working endlessly long hours working on a laptop, not getting a lot of exercise, not doing a lot of things, and pouring everything I had into my business, which meant the business grew great and was incredibly successful, but my health was suffering. And I was not in shape. I was losing strength. And I knew that that path was going to end badly. And that's, again, another cost for being a spender mindset, is eventually things break down and eventually things get worse. And if you're not investing to improve things and turn things around and make them better, eventually you're going to end up in a place you don't want to be. And that, again, is the unspoken cost of the spender mindset, is eventually you end up in a spot because you've only lived focused on today, because you've only lived in survival mode, that you're eventually in a spot where you're in a bad place. And now what are you going to do? You didn't invest in yourself to get better. You didn't make those changes. And now you're either facing some dire consequences, or you're in a really bad place where you really have to make some radical changes to your life to get a better result. And now you're kind of got your back against the wall. So it's much better to go through life having an investor mindset where you're seeing this all along and you're making incremental changes all along the way, all along the journey, rather than letting yourself get to the point where things are all of a sudden really bad. And now you're in a horrible place in life that you don't want to be, or you have to make radical changes to turn things around. So I hope you're hearing this. I hope you're understanding this, because this is important for your life, not just for your business, but for everything in your life. You need to start learning how to ask better questions of yourself when you hear opportunities. Don't ask yourself the question, can I afford this? Ask yourself, what kind of result will this get me? What is the return that I could expect from doing this? And do your homework. Don't just say yes to everything. Don't just immediately assume, oh, this sounds great and amazing, I'm going to do it, and get yourself into trouble on opportunities that were not what they were panned out to be. No. Sign up for things only when you are completely convinced. Pray about them. Search your heart. Make sure that you're making the right choices. But go into opportunities only when you're convinced that it is the right opportunity for you, when it is the right choice and the right decision. So the reality is that there aren't really as many accidents in life as we'd like to think of. There are accidents, but most of the time, the results that we're getting in our life are the results that we've chosen. The results that we've chosen by the behaviors that we've adopted on a daily basis. So if you want a better result, if you want a better outcome, you need to grow yourself and invest in yourself to get that better outcome. So I want you to think about this, and I want you to encourage you to think about your life a little bit differently. I want to encourage you to think through things from a new perspective. Think through things in a way that you're saying, I'm going to change my life to the point and in a way so that I can get the outcome that I truly want, so that I can create the life that I truly want for myself. That if I want to be somewhere different than where I am today, what do you need to do to get there? Think about the person you are today. Think about the person you want to become. Where's the gap? What do you need to do to cross that gap? And that's going to require investing in yourself. Investing financially, investing time, investing energy. And think about that. Be intentional. Don't just walk down the path of life passively, because one day you're going to end up somewhere you don't want to be, and you're going to be very, very unhappy that you didn't take this seriously sooner. So that's all I got for you today. I hope this is helpful to you. If you'd like us to help you design a better life, to help design a business that can even help you grow and become even better and stronger and more independent and have more financial freedom, we consider you to, we'd encourage you to check out Design Launch Grow. Otherwise, I hope you have an amazing day, and I will talk to you again very soon.